Hi class, it's Wendy again. I wanted to take a couple minutes to go through Lesson 8. And Lesson 8 is basically a review of other things you have gone through previously, so I don't think it'll take you as much time in the reading. However, the assignments may be just a little time consuming, so make sure you give yourself enough time. As you look at Chapter 8 or Lesson 8, make sure you take time to go over the key terms here. Look at this video as well as this video. In addition to reading the text, you'll find a lot of great information in the videos, and it's worth your time to take a look. So let's jump into the Publisher PowerPoint. Now in Lesson 8, you're asked to read Chapter 3 as well as Chapter 5. And if you recall, Chapter 5 was also covered in topics in Lesson 7, the last one we went through. So it'll be a little bit of a review, but I'm going to go through this real quickly with you just to catch up. So, lesson objectives. Understand the different kinds of research that are out there and how to deliver and create your own. As you go into Chapter 3, it's basic research. Double checking the text real quick. And we have not covered Chapter 3 yet in our readings, so it's kind of good to go through. So, a couple things to keep in mind. Differences in types of research. Primary is research that you contract or you have done intentionally. It's more recent, it's more relevant, it's using language you're familiar with, and it's also more expensive. Versus secondary. Secondary research is that research that has already been conducted. Perhaps you're using your own internal sales out data. Maybe you have your customers signed into a loyalty program for your products. Or maybe you're using something as basic as the U.S. Census. Those are considered secondary. They are easily available, less expensive than primary. You can capture it very quickly compared to primary. Quantitative is when there's numerical values involved. On a scale to 1 to 5, how well do you like shopping at whatever the store is? You can look at that. You can quantify that information. Qualitative is more descriptive type information, a little harder to jump into, but often offering qualitative research will give you answers to questions you didn't even know you had. Areas to look into, and don't overlook the competition. They're a good indicator of where your business should be heading or not heading. Starting the process, knowing the research question, the initial question, most important step. If you start doing customer research and you've not formulated or identified a firm question you want to use, you're going to have a problem. And also make sure you know how you're going to use the information going forward. Different types of research, and your text talks about it. What to do with your data when it's completed. And take a look at the Ritz-Carlton case study at the end. It's got a lot of really good information in it. So, Chapter 5, I think we covered this with Lesson 7. Going to go through it real quickly. Are your customers out there? And if you remember, I gave an example of a funnel. How to identify your customers, how many customers you need for an actual transaction. Understanding about your market. How do you describe them? What do they do? What are their behaviors? How do they shop? Size of the market. You want to make sure you're focusing on a market that's large enough to provide you the return you need for your business. Your market niches. And there's a lot of niches, but you can kind of focus on areas, perhaps areas your competitors have not gone yet. And a great example is listed in the case study for Trader Joe's. A lot of good information there. Coming forward, let's look then at your assignment. It's two-part. You've got an essay on types of research. Remember, it is an essay. I'm going to be looking for at a minimum 4 paragraphs. So read the assignment thoroughly before you begin. Then an HP Life Certificate. Now this is going to take you just a little bit longer to do. When you're in the HP website, you're going to be looking for marketing benefits versus features. Now, because I have already logged in, I can't go back to that point, but I can tell you that logging in today, the screen was a little bit different. And so what I did is I followed the prompt for the Google login, and then I used my Real Learn information going into Google. Once I'm there, I went through, I listened to the story. There's an activity here, and I want to give you a little guidance on the activity. Let me find it. In this activity, you are to identify which of these elements to focus on in your marketing. When you're doing that, make sure you read this information on target market first. It might lessen the amount of time. As with previous lessons we've done on this website, you can go back and keep redoing it until you get the perfect answers. And then in technology skills, you are going to be asked to help create a flyer. And they're using a Microsoft document to do this. There are 3 things you're going to need to do for the flyer. First thing you need to do is insert a picture. The second, insert a text box. And then you're asked to right align the text box. So let me grab my glasses. I want to walk you through this because it's not as intuitive as it seems, not to mention the screen is really, really small. Here we go. So first step, you've got a picture here. This is what Microsoft Office would look like. Your task is to add a picture. And I'll walk you through the steps. You hit Insert. Come over here to Picture. It's going to give you some choices. I would recommend either this one or this one. If you're marketing pottery, you want to show what it looks like. And then make sure you click the Insert button at the bottom. The next step is you need to add a text box. All you have to do is click on it. It'll insert it. Then the third step is to right align this text box. And to do that, I went back to Format, Align, Align Right. So I've accomplished the 3 steps that are required, and it'll give you the confirmation. I wanted to walk you through that because this screen at the beginning is not as intuitive as it should be. So your reading shouldn't take that long. You've already read chapter 5 in the text. Make sure you give yourself adequate time for the 2 steps in the assignment for this week. If you have any questions on this, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm here to help you. Thanks again for everything, and I love the work you've done in the class so far.